And you are back. Welcome back to the Activate Hour. Fading out in the background is Wycliffe Jean featuring Mary J. Blige. Someone please call 911. This particular segment of the show is brought to you by FunDza Literacy Trust. It is time for us to read for enjoyment and write for expression. And on the line today, we've got a novelist, author, writer, editor, mentor for writers by the name Zimkhitha Mlanzeli, and she's going to basically take us through her writing journey, where it all started and where she is right now. And she's going to give us a message for young people who are emerging writers on the ground today. Zimkhitha, hello.
Hi, Vanessa.
How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm breathing. I'm okay. How are you?
I am amazing. So briefly, Zimkhitha, firstly, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
having me.
It's actually a pleasure. Zimkhitha, take us through who you are, a brief background. Who is Zimkhitha as a writer, as a person? What does she stand for? What moves her? What motivates her to write?
Wow, and you say briefly, 4 years later, and you say briefly, how am I going to compress this?
Try and dissect it.
Well, Zimkhitha, like you said, and thank you for the beautiful introduction, is a writer, a novelist, somebody who's passionate about telling stories, basically. I mean, I live for stories. I breathe for stories. And my one true love is next to telling stories, making sure that abanye bantu also get a chance to share their stories. So promoting and empowering and developing other young writers out there. So yeah, that's what makes me tick. That's what I live for. That's what I wake up in the morning for. Yeah, that's who I am.
That is amazing. Zimkhitha, you could have chosen anything. I mean, absolutely anything. You could have been a doctor and a nurse, but you chose writing. Why?
To tell you the truth, I didn't choose it. It chose me.
Lovely.
To be honest, writing chose me. I mean, my life has been a roller coaster. Starting from, I mean, after matric, I went and studied engineering at NNMU. That was P-Tech then.
Oh, wow.
And then in the second year, I realized, no, this is not me. This is not what I want. My heart was not in it. And with the full bursary and everything, I had to leave it behind. I had to let it go and just try to find my own path. I mean, it's taken me a long time to get to where I am.
Yes.
Years of trying to swim and find. But writing found me because I could have been, like you said, a lot of things. I actually wanted to be a dancer. I think that's
dancer.
In my heart of hearts. I want to be a professional dancer on the stage.
So you've got music in your feet. So
I've got music in my feet, I'm constantly tapping. But the bug found me, man. I mean, stories came and I think they needed to be shared. And it was one of those things I couldn't run away from. I couldn't get away from. And I've just embraced it, and I've never been happier.
That is amazing. I mean, Zimkhitha, you have written a wealth of stuff, bodies of material. You have written things like License to Lie, Love and War, Letters to Jane. I mean, Incwadana Emnyama is your latest offering, The Little Black Book. Please, briefly tell us about the thought process behind the book. We know the Little Black Book does contain, if a person has it, it contains a lot of secrets and shenanigans and whatever. So you've written this book. What is it about, and why the translation from English to Xhosa and whatever the case is? But take us through the book and your thought process and your motivation there too.
Okay, so the Little Black Book, it was actually an idea that came, if you would believe it, 2 or 3 years ago. Conversations of people, man. I was sitting in the train one time and just listening to what people talk about. And some guys were talking about how, he keeps contacts of Amachiri and this and that. And I found it interesting. And then I wondered, but I couldn't engage him at the time and find out, what is this about? So being a creative that I am, I started just toying with the idea of what goes on behind, a guy's head when such things happen, and what do his other friends say. So the Little Black Book is just a story about this shy guy who just lives in the shadow of another guy who is one is deity. People even say it's deity these days. Oh my God.
I think we still do.
So yeah, just those little secrets that we keep, and we sort of rate abantu that we are with. So yeah, it's those secrets and overcoming. It's a story about a man who's overcoming his shyness, overcoming his setbacks, and just being able to stand up for himself and saying, "Listen, bruh, this is not on. I've got a voice, and I'm going to be my own man." So it's been a long time coming, and I'm quite happy that it's finally done. A little short story. And the translation, because of FunDza, we do translations. We have to do a certain amount of translations a year, and we do promote South African languages. It was just fitting that Ibe is Xhosa. I mean, it could have been any other Sesotho or Tswana, but fitting that Xhosa translated into Xhosa, and it's quite interesting for them to read it and see, wow, it reads wonderfully in Xhosa.
That is great. Yeah. I mean, I've read snippets of the book. In fact, I've written quite a lot on it. I'm not done reading it, and I'm quite intrigued with the development of the characters and the plot and the storyline itself. Now, you would agree with me when I say the journey of writing is an intricate one. It's a scary one, even. It can sometimes be confusing and daunting. What is your message to young and upcoming writers on the ground right now?
I think you live in my head, Wena, because that is the message, because it is. You get scared. The voices in your head and the message that you want to bring across. I mean, sometimes as writers, we get trapped in trying to preach, so because we live for stories, but we also have our internal stuff happening. So we tend to preach, so we get caught in that sometimes. But and then the fear holds you back. That okay, I don't want to follow because there's too many characters, and they each have to be unique and have their own voices. And sometimes you get scared, or sometimes even the topic that you want to engage is too big for you, and you just decide no, just leave it. It's bigger than me. Somebody else will write it. So the fear holds us back. And just for the young South African, especially black writers out there, just fear is just there to not hold us back, but to push us into our next better, greater self. You know what I mean? So
fear is just there.
Yeah, it's there. We need
it's
to
just there.
It.
Yeah,
it's not going to do anything to us. Just overcome it. Push and push a little more, even if it takes you a couple of years. Push and push a little more, and before you know it, you'd be doing great things.
That is amazing and mind blowing. How do people get a hold of you, Zimkhitha? How do people get a hold of the Little Black Book?
The Little Black Book is on the FunDza.mobi site.
Okay.
So you go on FunDza.mobi, and you can read the story there and interact and comment and leave your thoughts. How you find it, and also get hold of me on Facebook. I think my name is still
Zimkhitha Mlanzeli. Yeah.
Yes. Technology.
But I think that
leave me drop, and then you can email Zimkhitha at FunDza or writing at FunDza.co.za.
Thank you so much, Zimkhitha, for your time. We truly appreciate it. And social media is a buzz. They want to talk to you and they want to interact with you. Thank you very much for giving us your time today.
Thank you for the time.
Okay, great. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Zimkhitha Mlanzeli, the author of The Little Black Book. Her book is available online by going to live.fundza.mobi, and you can interact with her as well on Facebook by going to Zimkhitha Mlanzeli on Facebook, and Twitter, I think she's Khitha Mlanzeli. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for that particular segment and for interacting with us. Writing is a great form of expression, and what we're trying to do is to promote reading for enjoyment and writing for expression. And this does not necessarily have to be in one set language. It can be in all the different languages that we have in South Africa, because I think Nelson Mandela said this: when you speak to a person in a language that they understand, you speak to their minds. But when you speak to a person in a language that is of their own, then you speak to their hearts. It is reading for expression and writing for pleasure.
The opinions expressed on Bush Radio programs by the host, co-hosts, volunteers, guests, callers, or by any other means of interaction in this program are solely the opinions of the original source who expresses them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Bush Radio or its partners. The purpose of this radio program is for the public to address issues which affect the various communities Bush Radio services. We are open to your criticism or ideas for future radio programs. Please feel free to email us at feedback@bushradio.co.za.
And there you have it. It's 5 minutes until 4. They say time flies when you're having a good time. But it is flight times for us. We need to exit and give space for the next hour. And someone is going to be doing something awesome with it. It's Everyday People. But on top of the hour, we're going to be having the news. I'm Shadrach Sethi for Activate Hour.
And I'm Zilungile Zimela for the Activate Hour, the FunDza segment.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back next week again.
Yes, magutete bumnyama kuvele kukhanya.
Yes, so now that last, I have to give the answer to, that final quiz. The question was, Durban was visited by this famous explorer in 1497. The names were James Cook, Ferdinand, who definitely isn't, David Livingstone, close enough, and Vasco da Gama. One last chance.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to the listeners, man.
Okay. And the listeners say it's Vasco da Gama. Has to be, man.
It has to be. Like, it's the most popular one on the, on the thing.
Everywhere. He was here as well. I mean, he was just...
There's even a pair of shoes, Mos.
Yeah. It was probably like, it's like he was on Uber. Just take me there. Here's Jimmy Navis. We're out with 7764. Till next time.
7764, born and raised in this cold. Coke, cheese and crackers and a smile full of gold. Ghetto Nirvana, do just what we want and we don't care. 1107, born and raised in my hometown. Guns out at the parties, guns out, man down. Dancing on my F1, blue lights, we on the run tonight. Hey. Where we from, proud of our roots. Madiba manufactured, no China in these shoes. They call it heaven, they call it hell. I run the sound, shout out ATL. I'm singing like... 776. Short skirts and all stars and galaxies and bang bars. Fireworks on the beach, Guy Fawkes in the streets. Same but different and equal equivalent. Know where we from, proud of our roots. Madiba manufactured, no China in their shoes. They call it heaven, they call it hell. Around this town, shout out ATL, got me singing like